What is up, guys? PoliticsGaming here. Today we're doing a brand new series. It's going to be my very first series on Geo-Political Simulator 5. With the investments that are preparing to happen in the United States, it's going to benefit or even hurt some technology companies in the United States. There's been a lot of talk in the news recently with Nvidia having their stock price go up, as well as Intel. And so what we're going to be doing in this series is we're going to be playing as Intel. Otherwise, we are known as Intool. Intool is going to be marketed at $298 billion with a consolidated revenue every year of about $78 billion. There's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be preparing for. We're going to be expanding operations with at least 2 new factories, and as well, we are going to be expanding our footprint. And the goal here is to compete with Nvidia and actually even possibly at some point maybe even buy them out. That would make us the largest company in the world, but we have a lot of work to do, and just Intel has been suffering over the last couple of years. Intel used to be worth back in about the pandemic days, I believe it would have been worth about $50, and now at this moment that I'm making this video, they're actually worth about $23. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be trying to turn that around, competing with Nvidia's share price, and as well investing into other companies at some point. So let's go ahead and get into it and see how we can deal with the turnaround of Intel. So the first thing that we're going to do right now is we're going to be going to payment of dividends and setting annual goals. Dividends refer to the payment of the shareholder portion after profits are generated by the company where they own shares. Each year, if the company has made a profit, it can be divided between the reinvestment in the company and the redistribution of dividends to the shareholders. The redistribution decision is ultimately made by the head of the company. So what I'm going to do is that we're going to put our profit sharing, we're going to put that at about 1.75, just to kind of give their investors just a little bit more confidence in our company. As well, consolidated annual revenue goal. We're going to be developing some products today, so that way we can get our foot in the door in getting our revenue up. And so we're gonna shoot for about $85 billion in consolidated revenue. We had about profit goal last year in $26.4 billion. For some reason, I'm not able to max that out beyond that, so we're gonna go ahead and just max it out for a $15 billion profit, which actually instead I'm gonna go a little bit more conservative. Let's say $8.5 billion. Monthly gross salary for the director of the company is going to be how much money we're going to be making every year, and so that will have a direct effect on our net worth. So we're going to increase that. We're going to go for, let's say, $730,000 per year, and as well into performance-based bonus for 2024. Let's go ahead and provide ourselves with a $25 million bonus that'll be paid out by 545,000 shares in the company. So let's go ahead and send that over, and we'll know the decision by the end of the month. Whenever you start this game, whenever you start up as a company, you basically will have the ability to change those goals throughout the month. At the very end of the month, and on February 1st, basically it'll say this is the decision that has been made, and it kind of goes from there. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. There is a Mexican company, so I already tested this out. So it's going to be called Artemis. Let me look. So let me see if I can find this as a company. Artemis Cultivation Dynamics. It was a Mexican company that does business with chips. We see Bandai. You see Nigeria. This is a missile company worth about $1 billion. Let me go over here. Let's go to electronic components. And so NVIDIA is going to be who we're trying to compete with. So $248 a share. They are worth about $757 billion. And their net results is 43%. Basically, net results, you treat that as your deficit. Your surplus or your deficit. It's a little bit different, and so just throughout the gameplay, the episodes that I'm going to be creating for this, I'm going to be going kind of like telling you about what certain things mean and then how I would play. But just because the country gameplay is just a little wonky right now, I wanted to go ahead and just focus on a company, and because of the tariffs and everything like that, we do have to deal with tariffs in this game, so we are going to be finding out how to circumvent these tariffs and deal with a possibly Republican administration coming in within the next year. All right, and then we have a couple of messages right here. We have one from Ronald Trump, political involvement. We would be pleased to welcome you into our political family. We are aware that this will require a high moral commitment and time to spare, that not everyone up for it. Type of error. Consider also some financial support which will help your ideals succeed in your beloved homeland. And who know, it's not hard to imagine that one day you could run for the highest office, which actually that is a possibility, that I can run for president as any party whenever I am playing as a company head. Another solution, if you're considering a political career, you can also create your own political party and thus not have to rely on one. You could also be automatically nominated as a candidate in a national election without having to go through a party nomination or party primaries. Nonetheless, it's still a bit of a leap in the dark compared to simply joining an already existing political party, because it is difficult to tell at what point supporters would be likely to follow you on the campaign trail. So one thing that we can also prepare for is a possible capital increase. This would lower our share price. Basically what that does, there's a couple of ways that we can make money in this. The first one is that we can invest into other companies, and whenever their stock price goes up, we basically sell that money and then rake in the profit. The more direct one is the capital increase. Capital increase consists of increasing the amount of equity capital, which is all the resources contributed by shareholders during its creation of the company, by issuing new stocks on the stock exchange. There are multiple objectives: to benefit from new cash flows for future investments, strengthen equity, and gain credibility with client partners, suppliers, and/or banks. So basically, we can put a crap ton of shares up for sale and then lower the price on them to make it enticing to buy. So basically, if you look at this number right here, the 6%, you want to subtract that from this. So this means that it's publicly traded and publicly owned. If anyone starts to become like a majority shareholder, you can actually lose control of your company. I haven't had that happen to me yet, but I believe it would be like a game over somehow. The only way to alleviate that is basically by buying your own stock, and just retaining control and everything like that. So you don't want to do it like too much. You don't want to go in and just say like, oh, I'm gonna well, not buy a bid, but a capital increase. So you don't want to go in and just say, okay, 3 billion shares up for sale, and then yeah, you're gonna get $160 billion off of it. Or like if I put it down to $24 per share, $83 billion, you're gonna get a lot of money off of it, but you're going to lose control of your company. So it's a very, very double-edged sword, but if you use it strategically, then you're going to be okay. What I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to go over here and we're going to create a couple of new products. These are going to be some ranging products. So let's go ahead and hit this, and we're going to say a 8-core CPU. This is going to be a 2-star product. We're going to sell it for about, let's say, $115. We have an expected margin of 1,962%, CO2 impact 0.89. It will be in development for about 11.5 months, and then the cost of development will be about $12 million. So we definitely will be able to get our money back in some way. And let's go ahead and go over here. So that was an 8 core. And then so let's do 24 core CPU. And then let's hit that for about $260. Let's do that at 4 stars. Let's actually do it at 3 stars. 4,000% margin. 12 months of development, so about a year from now is whenever that's actually going to be put into the market. And then we can go here, and then we're going to hit for a new facility. So the biggest thing that kind of sucks about this, if you can actually look, the maximum number of employees that can be established at a plant like this, 133,000. Can you imagine 133,000 people just working in a single factory like that? So that definitely needs to be worked on, Eversim, if you're watching. Where are we going to build this? So a lot of them are apparently going up in Arizona. TSMC just announced that they're going to be investing $100 billion into the United States chip product factories. So that also does include Intel. So what we may see in the future, again, don't ever take a financial advice from me. I just lost some money in the stock market today.
What? Oh, hell no! That's hell no! Whoa!
Because Trump decided to make the very funny decision in saying tariffs while he was announcing that $100 billion, and then immediately the entire stock market just fell apart. So it was kind of funny to watch that thing happen in real time.
Just do it, you fucking pussy! Just do it!
So I'll go ahead and hit that, and we're gonna look. I'm gonna throw that right next to that Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix. So that can make about a billion components per year. 650 days is how long it would take for that to go live. And then in the meantime, we could focus on increasing our sales. So we're going to do something like this. We have commercial office buildings. Basically, these are going to help boost our sales. These are going to be things like supermarkets that sell the products, storefronts that sell the products, as well as call centers and other types of sales offices and markets that have the ability to basically promote the product. So like sales teams. So we're going to put one in Dallas. We're going to put one in Seattle. We're going to put one in Portland. Let's put one in San Jose. And as well, let me put one in New Orleans and then Kansas City. And that will cost about $332 million for all of those commercial office buildings. Opening retail outlet requires hiring about 10 employees from the local workforce who will join the staff of the brand's company in that territory. Products sold in retail outlets are all affiliated with the brand. And so we have some information here. The commercial effectiveness of a new outlet will depend on the purchasing power in that country and the types of products sold. Among other things, if they are too chintzy and cheap, interest in developing retail outlets will be limited.
Perfect.
What if I do this to sales offices? So we have to go back. So Kansas City, Dallas, San Jose, Portland, Seattle, and Salt Lake City. Let's do 5 in each city. That'll be about $84 million. And then go back, do office building, and we're going to do this in San Jose, as well as we'll do it in Dallas. That'll be about $110 million. We'll leave it like that, and then we'll expand slowly over time. That way we can kind of just creep into the market rather than just dumping a lot of money into the market in something that may or may not be able to pan out. All right, and then so let's go ahead and look at some other new options that we have in this game. So we have our financial director. So basically, this is going to be the guy that's giving us like some of the rundowns of all of the financial decisions and financial news that's going on. So giving us pointers like this, the capital increase.
Increasing capital can allow you to acquire a lot of funds quickly and to make new investments. If you are worried about losing too much control, you can always limit the number of new shares being put up for sale.
So we do have a couple of new features that are coming in. So like this right here, it shows us things that will affect businesses and corporations in the country. So we have a government bill that is being proposed by the President, Tom Baden. This is establishing the duration of allowance for job seekers. And I'll show you how that can actually affect your company expenses in a second. So the length has an impact on the time the job seeker has to find paid work before unemployment benefit is taken away. So this is going to be the amount of money that we're paying into unemployment for the duration if we were to lay off a certain amount of people. So if we were to lay off 15,000 people, you have to pay them. And there's several different laws that have to do with this. The other one is like how much of the previous salary do you have to pay before, like how much of the previous salary do you have to pay, and like this one, how long do you have to pay them? So all of this will directly affect how much it will cost in order to lay off people and keep them laid off for the duration if you're starting to run into financial difficulties, anything like that. If you go, okay, I don't want to increase this, I don't want this to increase, you can take the risk of lobbying Congress in order to say no to it. So the more that you spend on this type of operation, the more likely it is to expose yourself. But before I forget, we're going to go over here and we're going to go to contract with the law firm for legal protection. We're going to go over here to Rolls and Royce. This will take up about 6% of our expenses every year. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to go to cybersecurity. We're going to knock this up to 12%. So now we have legal protection and we have cyber protection in order to prevent any type of cyber attack from disabling operations. And sometimes cyber attacks are really bugged, so I'm really not trying to get cyber attacked at all. I think they may have fixed it. They've actually been fixing a lot of stuff, so it's really nice to see where this game is going. However, we still have a lot of work to do. Would I recommend it? I have a video on that. I would go watch it, but basically the gist of it is, if you don't want to deal with bugs or anything like that, I'm saying that this game is a lot more buggy than the previous editions. But I really like the company aspect, and I really like what they're doing with the economy. That is, people are like, oh, well, this isn't a company simulator, this is a political simulator. This is actually an economic simulator. It focuses way more on politics and economics rather than military, which is why the military gameplay is so bad. But they do have the idea of changing it in the near future, so we'll definitely see where it's going to go. But other than that, we do have the end of the month coming up, so our financial goals will be decided on by the board, and then we're going to be able to go from there. All right, and then we now have George Cluwne giving us our financial conclusions. The annual shareholders meeting took place this morning. Beside the acknowledgement of financial results for the past fiscal year, we have already published an annual balance sheet. The shareholders are now aware of your objectives set for this year. Here are our conclusions. Regarding your goals for last year, we are overwhelmed by your excellent results. Congratulations, you have well earned your bonus, which will be paid out in company stock. Regarding the objectives for the coming year, they are quite good. We can't wait. The forecasted profit is incredible, if you're right, that is. And the salary you want is more than reasonable. We greatly appreciate your restraint. That was restraint. The bonus for meeting objectives you have set seems incredible and obscene. After some deliberation and based on your revenue and profit objectives and your inordinate proposal, the board has voted to set your share bonus at a much lower amount. I encourage you to refer to your summary of annual objectives. In conclusion, we can confirm the renewal of your contract for the coming year. And so let's go over to here, and we'll see the results of that and where we're at and how much money I got in bonus. So basically $85 billion, $8.5 billion profit. So revenue is basically the amount of money that we've been selling, so that's going to be our sales. And then the profit is how much we're profiting. So if we're sitting in there spending a lot of money, then we can take on a loss, and then we're going to not meet that objective. Director monthly gross salary, $730,000, so it's what we set it at. And then they lowered my performance-based bonus from $25 million in stock to about $8 million in stock. So I got paid $180,000. So I got paid 180,000 shares in the company. That way I might at least get a little bit of a bonus. So basically what that affects is that's going to affect this. So whenever your stock price goes up, so if this goes up to $100, then my net worth is going to go up. The more that I own in a company, the more that my net worth becomes. So I can basically become a billionaire by increasing the amount of assets that I have in my company, and then that will in turn increase my net worth, and then I get really rich off of it. There's not really a lot that you can do with that money except to just reinvest it into other stocks. So a lot of times what I've done is that if you buy out a company in this, and then you immediately, like right before you buy out that company, you invest everything that you have, your entire net worth, into your company, your stock price will skyrocket as soon as you buy that company and that actually goes through. And then you're gonna have like hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank to reinvest in other companies. All right, and so let's go over here and let's see, recruitment fairs, salaries, organization, team building operation. Let's do $125 million into a team building operation just to kind of get everyone going, get the morale up, and get everyone to at least support the company. $45. So whenever companies start to go bankrupt, basically we'll have them pop up right here. So NRI, TCL, we basically get the opportunity to purchase these companies within about 60 days. So I think it's like some sort of bidding war or anything like that. They've been placed into receivership, but their commercial activities having some common ground with ours. This could be an opportunity to purchase it, although this does carry certain risks. After the financial assessment by the bankruptcy court Jiangsu, they could accept a takeover offer of nearly $3 billion. This will pay off a part of their debt and allow them to continue their activity. If this seems like a worthwhile option to you, you need to have this amount available in 60 days at the latest to validate the transaction. Would you like me to contact the court to inform them of their intention to make this takeover offer? And so basically, that is going to be like the best possible option to try to buy out companies at a just very, very small price. However, I tried this in a test run about last night from the recording of this video, and it was Artemis Holdings that went bankrupt in Mexico, and Artemis Coding. So this is the one that I wanted to buy a minute ago, and I might have to look into it to see if there's a possibility I can try. So whenever it's a privatized company, basically you don't have the opportunity to see their revenue, their value, or their net assets or their net results. You can see a couple of things like their subsidiaries and how many employees they have, but basically it's not going to give me the opportunity to see any of that. What I might do is that I may wait to see if they go bankrupt, and then if they do, then we can buy them, which would allow us to expand operations in Mexico. But the biggest thing about it is whenever they are in that situation, they're basically so bankrupt that it's very difficult for even you to try to turn it around. All right, and let's go ahead and do a little bit of negotiating. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to, this is going to be contract with the vendor. We're going to select our company, Intel, and then we're going to go over to the purchase of products for the yearly purchase of products. And so let's go to, so this is where it becomes important to note what tariffs are in the country. So whenever you buy from the United States, whenever you buy from your own country, you look at it and you see that you have a couple of new things in the contract negotiations. So you have net amount, you have delivery cost, you have total amount, and then you have custom duties. Whenever you have no custom duties, or whenever you have a free trade agreement, or you have buying from your own country, basically. So like here, I'm buying from P&G. There's no custom duties because it's obviously we're buying from our own country. But if I go over to Canada, it becomes the opposite. So then there is actually a amount that we are paying for the tariff. So this goes directly in line with the idea that whenever you tariff someone, it is not going to be the other country paying for that tariff. It is actually going to be the company that is needing those products. So to avoid that, that's whenever it becomes the idea being that you invest in your own country, and you'll have to basically say, okay, we're going to have to deal with the prices in our own country, even though we could get it cheaper elsewhere. And so kind of like revitalizes national production and everything like that. So me, instead of going to China to buy chemicals, I go over to the United States and I buy chemicals, even though I am paying a little bit more for that. Then it kind of like becomes this like back and forth of like, oh, I'm gonna invest into this. But what is your guys' thoughts on tariffs? Tell me your guys' thoughts on tariffs down in the comments, because I definitely know tariffs have been a really big deal since the inauguration of President Trump. Let's go ahead and look to see what we can buy. So we probably don't need any copper right now. Let's look at... where is it? Westlake. So I need 12,000 tons of chemicals, and they produce about 7 million. So let's do 15,000 tons, and let's leave it like that. No custom duties. It was about $20 million that we're paying for those products. All right, and then we have a negotiation from them. Wow, they really want to increase the price on that, huh? All right, let's go ahead and negotiate it down to 2,300, and we'll just take the next offer that they put to us. Probably not the best negotiator, but I just want my materials. So negotiation, 27. All right, $41 million. It's whatever. Let's go ahead and hit the next button, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a little time skip, and then we'll see what happens. I'm gonna play until about May in this episode, and we'll go from there. All right, so we have right here is going to be another contract. However, this is going to be for the sale of our product. So there's a intricate balance that comes into here. So basically every product that is being made basically is being sold, is selling those products to other companies so that they can make their own products, and etc., etc. So for example, if you're playing a car company, like what we're doing is we're selling these products over to BMW or BMV, the US subsidiary of BMW. So basically they need to build a car, which takes steel, it takes copper, it takes electronic components, etc., etc., etc. So they have to basically buy and source all of these products from other companies, and then whenever they're able to do that, then they can actually build their product and increase the production of that product. But, you know, we are an intricate balance to that. So then what we can do is that as we are a part of that supply chain, we can just go ahead and sell this over to the US subsidiary of BMW and say, okay, let's go ahead and hand them over, or just sell them, let's say 200,000 components of electronic components. So we have annual consumption 200,000. 213,000, and then we're selling them 200,000. It's about $62 million that will be made by this, and then let's go ahead and try to get just a little bit more money, and let's do $370. Well, actually, let's do 340. That's $68 million. We'll have to find a much bigger supplier, or much bigger buyer for that. That way we can actually start to turn a profit on some of this. Let's see, contract rejected, the offering is too high, the volume you are offering is too high. We do not wish to be dependent on one supplier. So yeah, definitely let's go over to here, and what's the client? Electronic components, and then the company. Let's consider a deal with China. So 600,000. Is there someone that like needs so much of this? Who could we sell it to? that would need like just infinite amounts of electronic components. Maybe a Ukrainian company, 200,000. No. Let's do the United States, and then Honda. 200,000. What about if we wanted to do South Korea, and then Samsung Holdings, 155. Oh yeah, definitely. Let's do that. All right, 155. Let's do 75 million components. Just below, and that is a massive contract for us. That is a huge contract. $30 billion is what we're going to be shooting for. Let's do 30 billion exactly, 367, and we'll send that over. And if this will like very much help out our stock price, I believe, if we are actually able to score this deal. So let's look. Contract rejected. The purchase price you have offered is too high by Samsung. All right, let's try it again. 75 million. And client here. And then let's go to Samsung. Samsung Holdings. All right, let's do 75. 123. So 75 million. Let's do it at 320. So that's $26 billion. Still a massive contract if we're able to sell it at that price. And contract rejected, unfortunately. Price you offered is too high by Samsung. All right, let's try it one more time, and let's just do it at the price that we offer. So clients, electronic components, and Samsung. Here, and 75, 123, $25 billion. Let's do it at 310 and just kind of undercut it a little bit just to see. If they're asking for anything below that, I'm not doing it. Even though that is just unfortunate that we're not able to do that. Samsung says no, and it's being too high by Samsung. Okay, let's look at something right here. What is the price of our products? What is the default price? 312. So what about South Korea? 312. Sale price including tax is $374. Delivery cost $1.48. Taxes, which includes tariffs, would come out to about $62.25, and there's no distributor discount. So we don't have the ability to do a distributor. We just have a direct contract with that company. Who else could we do? So let's do aeronautical. What about Boeing? 36,000. No, not even a non-starter right there. Non-starter. 2.5 million. Let's do 1.2 million. And price you offered for this good is considered being too high for that contract. So unfortunately, it looks like no. That we are not able to sell that. I'm wondering what they're expecting out of me. I mean, we could possibly move into the future, but I guess we'll hold off on any more contracts for right now. We've already wasted enough time. Stock price is at $44.42, and our market value is at $289 billion. Do we need to do something to increase money? So we have the ability to do a capital increase. However, that would basically dilute our share. To avoid diluting shares already held, which is decreasing their percentage, these have priorities over the purchase of new stocks. The stock price will be at a discount less than the current price so that investors will be interested. Warning, if the amount of stocks on sale is high, a capital increase could place the principal shareholder in a minority, which is changing the governance oversight, basically making you a subsidiary of a different company. So I could definitely go for some new capital. We could do 205 million shares. It's about 3% of the company, and we could offer them for about maybe $35 a share. Or we can go ahead and engage in tax fraud or tax avoidance. Let's go ahead and do that and see where we can be put in terms of companies. So a little bit of tax evasion, Don't tell on me, please. And let's see where that takes us. A little bit of illegal activities. Research Center is going to be another priority of mine because there are some types of products that we can increase our holdings on. So apparently right here we can do RFID chip, a microchip that combines a new generation microprocessor with an RFID chip that allows passive objects equipped with these chips that are implemented under the skin of a person to, for example, to have behavior through a network connection or another RFID chip. And so this would benefit the following activities, which would be household appliances, and then would also increase our shares with electronic components. Have we already done this? So we have owner companies, German, MTL, AMD, and Hocho. And we do not. So Matter Sciences. So we have a limited number of discoveries that we can go for. Construct a research center. Let's go ahead and do this. And let's do 30 months. Let's hit it with 10 months, $156 million. Let's say let's do 7,500 researchers for this. So max operating capacity is about $4.1 billion is how much that would cost. Let's put this south of Oklahoma City. That's where OU or OSU is. And just a little bit of a research facility there. And $44. I want to buy stock in myself when, we have the ability to kind of like look at ourselves and say, okay, we're about to go up. Basically, that would be whenever we're about to buy out a new company and we just don't have that money yet. So we could do a capital increase and then we could use that money that we raise with that in order to buy another company. But we would need to kind of look to see what kind of company we want to buy. So let's go over to buyout bid, and that could be the focus in the next episode, is to just look at it and see what kind of what kind of company do we want to focus on and possibly purchase. Do we want to expand our operations? I would say that maybe we can get into consumer electronics or computer hardware. We could buy, we have the Quint Coding Corp, CE. We have a couple of Taiwanese companies. There's one American company that's worth looks like $35 billion. No subsidiaries, 15,000 employees. Very, very good if we were able to buy that, but we don't know. So let's go ahead and see this one. Let's see how much that would be. Current stock price, 298. And then $35 billion is how much we would need. But we could take out a loan for it. However, the annuity on that loan would be about $10 billion. So it'd be very, very expensive and very risky in order to buy any type of company right now. So basically what we need to do is we need to just continue to focus on our products. And so we'll make our way to the month of May, and then we'll go from there. So basically the first 2 episodes are just going to be focusing on waiting to get those products out. Once we start getting those products out, over time, as our offices start to accumulate more people, we will be able to increase our sales so we could hit about $85 billion by the end of the year. Once we do that, then we can go and look, and then we can start to try to expand our horizons and buy some more companies. Once we start buying those companies, our share price will go up, our market value will go up, and then we'll be able, it's basically like an infinite money glitch at that point. But I want to do this as realistically as possible. That way we can kind of focus on the mechanics, teaching ourselves how to play the company mode, and kind of investigating how the economy works now in GPS 5. So we're going to make our way just a little bit more, so you may see a time skip right here, so I'll see you guys on the other side. All right, and it looks like a major disaster just occurred in Russia. It looks like that the Smolensk, I would say the Smolensk, let me look real quick. This is, which one was this? It looks like a nuclear power plant in Russia just got attacked. Doesn't really show me which one it was, but that is just a disaster just occurred inside of Russia near the war with Ukraine. It could have been a Ukrainian attack that had started that. Not a good look for Ukraine at this point. However, you know, as just any businessman says, what is the business opportunity that we could do in this? That is a joke, by the way. Anyway, let's go ahead and focus on ourselves. And so make a buyout bid. What else could we do? So we have 28% in our annual results, or in our net results. We have $3 billion in debt. This isn't even due until 2054. Let's go ahead and look. Let's see. We have a C rating, $147 billion that we can borrow. Let's go ahead and borrow, I would say, let's do $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion. We'll do it for a 2-year term. No, we'll do a 3-year term. $541 million. We'll hit it with that. Give us just a little bit more leg room. And new facility. Let's do this. Giant production site, 109,000 people. Jesus Christ. Let's do that on a loan. And then let's do this in... let's do it in Michigan. Again, I don't know why we have to hire so many people. The payroll is going to look hilarious whenever these go live. But that's all we have right now. I was hoping they kind of fixed it by then, but that's the one thing I'm worried about doing, even starting this series, is because like every time they update it, it always kind of like fixes things, but then also just makes it a little bit more difficult to even try some of the new features on the save that I had, so then I have to restart it and everything like that, and I lose all the progress, so it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating to try to commit to a series on this because whenever things change, I mean, it kind of like ruins all of the progress and everything, and then I would have to go back and manually do everything and get myself, and I don't have the modding tool right now, so it's really frustrating sometimes. But I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to get some content out. I know I've been really lacking lately. I've been working a lot, and whenever I'm done, I have like one day off, one day on, one day off, and then I work 4 days. And so it's really tricky to try to commit to YouTube whenever you have stuff like that going on. All right, and it is now May time, so let's go ahead and wrap it up right here. Guys, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you guys have any idea of what direction we should go in with the company of Intel, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think and what your thoughts are so far on GPS 5. The economy, in my opinion, is very good, and I really cannot wait for it to be fleshed out further. I do believe that this is a step in the right direction with the economy, with the way that they had to do it, and just companies are a very integral part of national politics and economics, so it makes sense for them to do something like this. However, it is a long way before this game is very much ready to be called a finished game, so we'll see what happens. But other than that, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.